Greetings nerdy list aficionados and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. Today we're going back to superheroes going too far. And this time, I have a fun mix of chicanery. Today I've got heroes going too far in combat, emotionally and domestically. We've got it all. Just like last time, you may feel that all these were justified. As always, that's fine. Different strokes for different folks. I'm Sasha and these are the top 10 times superheroes went too far part 2. I have such sights to show you. Number 10. Hal Jordan recreates Coast City. So let's take this Hal going parallax thing from a different angle. Let's go back to the beginning of the descent, and this occurs after Coast City is destroyed during the death of Superman, Reign of Superman stuff. So Coast City, where his family lived, gone. 7 million dead when Mongol detonated a bomb, but it turned out he had been ordered to do it by Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman. Hal had been in space at the time, so returned to find it destroyed, and this completely unhinged him, just the guilt of it. And after it was all settled, he was so rattled, he tried to use his ring to recreate the city. He obviously could not do it. But this was the beginning of the instability and a sign that he was cracking. That's a creepy abuse of ring power that hadn't been thought through. You know, first you're recreating cities that you just have to sit in the entire time, just holding the construct up. Then you're growing Reed Richards hair streaks. Next thing you know, you're killing the entire Green Lantern Corps and blowing up in the sun. It's the natural progression of these things. But don't worry, he was possessed, so none of it counts. Number 9. Iron Man sending Hulk into space. So most people are vaguely aware of Planet Hulk, but did you know how he got there? Iron Man shot him into space in the lead up to Civil War. This is because him and some of his friends, Reed, felt that the Hulk was getting out of control. He was causing too much collateral damage, too many potential deaths, because Marvel has this thing that the Hulk never kills civilians, yeah. It's a modern thing and was a comics code thing before that. To that I say, sure Jan. No one's ever died in a Hulk rampage. Anyways, they felt they couldn't deal with him on Earth anymore. So why is this too far, you may ask? Are they wrong, you may be asking? Well, Marvel characters know that space is full of aliens, so it's fine for them to deal with the Hulk by just shooting him to space, where potentially other aliens can't stop him. That's ice cold Tony. This was the Tony going into Civil War though, so maximum douchery engaged. Number 8. Jean Grey outs Iceman. Let's get controversial. Let's talk about an event people are oftentimes afraid to talk about. So Iceman in modern continuity is gay. This was accomplished via retcon that featured time travel. But here's the thing, this wasn't a reveal Bobby came to himself. In the issue wherein this is revealed, Bobby is conflicted about his sexuality. In fact, it appears more that he's leaning towards expressing bisexuality, which would have lined up with the past big female loves of his life, which were genuine. But then Jean Grey just reads his mind and goes, Bobby, you're gay. So she reads his mind, without his consent, then interpreted what she saw there through her own lens, then told him what he thought in his own mind, based on what she saw. That's a big oof for me. Can we get some cringes in the chat, please? Yeah, many felt that this was a mishandling of what could have been a really big moment, and for some people was a really big moment. But a lot of that got lost in the crutch of, if you don't like this, there's something wrong with you. It became a thing you couldn't talk about, and in some circles still can't. But no one silences me. I'll talk about what I want. Number 7. Jason Todd replaces Nightwing. So Dan Didio has long had issues with Dick Grayson as Nightwing. He doesn't get it. He's like, he's not Robin, and he's not Batman. Whose man's is this? Flips table. So he wants two things. Well, either him dead or his name changed. Ideally both. But he got the name changed. That's why he's Rick Grayson now, which is pretty much the same thing as dead to me. Whoa, too much salt, I'm sorry. So in Infinite Crisis, Dick was supposed to die and Jason was going to become Nightwing, but the editors saved him and also writers protested, and so he got to live another day. But Jason was already Nightwing because this was pretty much a done deal. Dick Grayson's city had exploded while he was in it. He was dead. So Jason was also Nightwing for a bit, and he was unhinged. He was killing people and tried to kill Dick. This was prime insane Jason when that was what we were doing with him. It was the continuation of the greatest regret angle before the black sheep angle. Jason was slicing people's throats, leaving blood notes on walls. It was all too far. Too much. Most people have blocked this arc from their memory, along with that time that Jason was a tentacle monster. But I'll never forget. Number 6. Cyclops doesn't tell Jean about his wife. Let's talk about Cyclops and Jean. They are one of the iconic X-Men couples, but like Wanda and Vision, they have a pretty messed up history. After Jean died as Phoenix, before Phoenix was retconned to being a force and not her being mad with power, so basically the first Parallax retcon, Scott would pick up with Madeline Pryor, a woman who looked strikingly similar to Jean. This would turn out to be because she was her clone. He married her and the two had a son, Nathan Summers, or Nate Summers, Summers, who would grow up to become Cable after he was raised in the future. However, during all of this, Jean came back, and Scott was so thrilled he went to see her. But not only did he not tell his wife and newborn son where he was going, but he also didn't tell Jean he was married and had a kid. He would then go on to join X-Force, all without telling Madeline. He would be spending the entire time convincing himself that this was the right thing to do. For many fans, this was the beginning of their hatred towards Cyclops, because he just does not come off well in this arc. Number 5. Batman puts Dick in traction. This is from the Superman/Batman crossover comic from 2003, about 54 issues in, where Batman and Superman swap powers and Batman goes a little nuts. He's just spending all his time non-stop crime fighting, chasing the Night across the globe. Dick eventually tries to take him down by waiting till he's been in the Night for quite a while, so away from the sun and hence less powerful. But Dick can't take down a superpowered Batman, and he ends up getting horribly injured. Bruce attacks him, brutally crushing his jaw and nearly breaking his spine. The injuries are so horrific, Alfred doesn't know if he can forgive him, even if Bruce is less stable than usual because of all the powers. Batman smacks his Robins far more than I'd like, but when he does, it's always a la gasp moment. Let's talk about a ward smack that many people forgot about in at number 4. Number 4. Green Arrow punches Speedy. This occurred in the famous Green Arrow Green Lantern team-up comic with the cover, "My Ward, a Junkie?" wherein Green Arrow, who has a very harsh stance on drugs, which is kind of the complete opposite of how he was portrayed for the rest of the series, which is very interesting, because that series pitted Hal and Ollie against each other ideologically. Oftentimes Ollie's the more leftist person who was just berating Hal constantly for being a space cop and doing what the Guardians tell him. But in this, when he discovers that Roy Harper is on drugs, he flips out, and Speedy goes, "Fine, hit me if it'll make you feel better, guess you don't know everything," and so Ollie does hit him. He just can't handle it. How could someone under his tutelage be on drugs? He doesn't lift a finger to help him either. No, it's Black Canary and Hal who help him out and see that he gets the help that he needs. Then Ollie shows up and is all, "Oh, I'm sorry, I overreacted." Why does no one remember this? They remember the cover, but not the contents. Too far. Be better to your wards. Stop hitting them. Number 3. Dick Grayson kills the Joker. This happened, for real, in canon, not an Elseworld story. This happened in Joker's Last Laugh, a storyline wherein the Joker convinced everybody that he had a brain tumor and he decides that he's gonna go out in style. He's going ham. He creates crazy Joker rain like falling from the sky. But Dick snaps when he finds Robin's, at the time Tim Drake's, costume shredded, and he's had enough at this point. Jason is dead, Barbara was paralyzed because of the Joker, for Tim to be gone too was just too much for him. Dick would proceed to beat the Joker to death, only for Tim and Batman to show up and for him to realize it was a ruse. He starts to have a breakdown, but Batman is able to restart the Joker's heart. But Dick killed him, that's over the line. I'm sure the people of Gotham would have been fine with it though. Just saying. Number 2. Jean Grey and the Spider-Man Wolverine mind swap. This happened in the Ultimate Verse, the 1610. So here Wolverine was hitting on Jean and was not appreciated, so she swapped his mind with the person he would least like to be swapped with, and that turned out to be Peter Parker. And while Wolverine was in Peter's body, he hit on MJ. Just the whole thing was too far. Jean can play pretty fast and loose with her powers. Poor Peter, he had no idea what was going on. He just woke up as Wolverine. I wouldn't want to wake up as Wolverine. He has lots of enemies. Also, everything would smell a lot. Also, hitting on MJ. Gross. But I mean, Wolverine and Squirrel Girl, never forget. And number 1. Ant-Man creeps on Carol Danvers. Now this Ant-Man isn't Hank Pym, and it's not Scott Lang, so get ready to get out your torches and pitchforks for someone new. This is Eric O'Grady, and this happened in The Irredeemable Ant-Man, so well they named it right. This Ant-Man is just a creeper, and his thing is spying on girls in the shower. He does it to a woman he saves from a purse snatcher, follows her home, shrinks, and then he's creeping in the shower. Now Eric wasn't supposed to have a suit. He was just a low-level SHIELD agent, but he ended up getting his hands on one anyway, through a bit of a clandestine means kind. But he would fight crime, so it does count. And he'd have a bit of a change of heart later on, we'll talk about that in a sec. So how did he end up peeping on Carol? Well, this was because he hid in a random woman's purse for shower purposes. And then when he gets out, it turns out that it is Carol Danvers. He spies on her and takes pictures before she notices. Gross. Grady would later vow to change and become a better hero, but this is hard to come back from. Look at his face in these panels. So those were 10 more times superheroes went too far. I hope you were more taken aback. Last time some of you were like, child's play, millennials. Well, not this time. I'm Sasha, thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more nerdy lists. Hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.